Hey everyone, I want to welcome you to Christ Talk by Bert Reece. I'm Bert. Today I want to talk to you about a measure of talent. I got that from Matthew 25:14 through 15. It says, "For it is just like a man about to go on a journey who called his own slaves and entrusted his possessions to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his own ability. And he went on his journey." Well, I want to kind of break that verse down a little bit and just kind of talk about it, and then we'll bring it full circle at the end. But first of all, it says he called his own slaves. When we read 1 Corinthians 7:22, it says that we are slaves to Christ. When you think about what Christ did for us on the cross, he died on the cross for our sins. He purchased us. He redeemed us. He paid the price for us. So we are slaves to Christ. So we have to think about it. In this verse in the Bible, it's written in red. It means Jesus it's his word speaking, and he's talking in parables to people. He's giving them a spiritual perspective with an earthly with some earthly stuff to talk about, so people can relate to what he's saying. So we are slaves to Christ. It says he called his own slaves. Secondly, the master did not give them the talents, but rather he made them stewards of the talents. That in itself is very, very important. Ownership never changed hands. To be a steward of something means that you are to take good care of something, and you to treat it like it's your own, but you're to take really, really good care of it, because that's important. Now, you can be a good steward or you could be a bad steward, but when you know that it's for the master, for your employer, for somebody that's over you, you want to do a good job. So if they're going to give you something, you want to make sure that you are being a good steward of it. Thirdly, he gave to each a measure of talent, not the same talent. It didn't say he gave to each the same. It says he gave to each a measure of talent. So when I think about that, it's important to remember not to idolize or envy someone else's talent, but to appreciate the measure of talent that you've been given, because you've been entrusted with whatever it is that you've been given. So you need to hold on to that statement or that thought, and just be appreciative of that, because it's important to realize, he gave to one 5, he gave to one 2, and he gave to one 1. Now, here's why that's important. The talents he gave had nothing to do with how much he loved. The verse doesn't say anything about him talking about how much he loved this one more than he loved the other. No, it doesn't. It says it says that he gave it to them because of their ability. It had everything to do with their ability to handle what he had entrusted to them, because it said according to his own ability. So I think that's super important, because it means that the master took careful thought about what he would give to each slave. For me, I think that meant he set them up for success. He set them up for success because he didn't give them more than they could handle. He had to have known what he was giving them. He had to have known each slave in order to give them what he gave them, and be able to say each according to his own ability. So I think that in itself is just super, super important. I think about my own children, and I think about me being a parent. One of the things that I used to do when my kids were growing up, they're young ladies now, but one of the things that I would often do is, as I was picking them up from church, the child care or youth at church, or from daycare when they were little, one of the things that I would do is I wouldn't rush in to pick them up. I would stand back, and they didn't realize I was watching them, and I would just kind of watch how they acted. I was able to see their character. I was able to see how they acted when mommy and daddy wasn't around. I was able to see how they interacted with other kids and with other adults that were in charge of them. So I got a chance to see that. So in this scripture, it says that he gave it according to his own ability. So that means that the master knew his slaves. He knew their strengths. He knew their weaknesses. So he knew what they could handle. So he set them up for success in what he left for them. I just think that is huge. And so it's important. Fifthly, the master is coming back, and the master wants a return on his investment. One of the things that I didn't read in this verse today, if you go down to verse 19 of Matthew 25, it says, "Now, after a long time, the master of those slaves came and settled accounts with them." I want you guys to know that the master is coming back. Jesus Christ is coming back, and he's going to settle accounts with us. And it's super, super important that we have something to show for what he's given us, what he's left us to be stewards of. 2 Corinthians 5:10 says, "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may be recompensed for his deeds in the body, according to what he has done, whether good or bad." We are going to be judged as Christians based off of what we did with the gifts and talents that God left for us, whether it be good or bad. Just it's not going to be just okay to say I'm a Christian and I made it in. This is going to be a day that all believers go before the court, where the judge will be Jesus Christ. Can you imagine that? I mean, the master is coming back to settle accounts. So as we think about that, when you know your measure of talent, and you know that it was only after careful consideration that God gave you whatever gift or talent that you have, and he gave it to you because he knew your abilities. So he thought about you before he gave it to you. And he trusted you enough to lend you something special of his, for you to hold on to and to use as if it was your own while he goes away. Well, when you really think about that, it should make you want to utilize that gift or that talent to the fullness of your ability to point people back to him. But one of the things I want you guys to be mindful of, that it's not about Paul's ability. It's not about Peter's ability or Sarah or Mary's ability. It's about your own ability, because it said according to his own ability, according to your measure of talent. He's not going to come and judge you on what he left somebody else. He's going to come back and judge you on what he's left you. Likewise, on the flip side of that coin is you shouldn't really care about how the world judges you. Because at the end of the day, it won't be the world judging you. It'll be Jesus Christ. So what the world thinks about you, it really shouldn't matter. Those same people who are discouraging you, if they are discouraging you, whether it be from legalism, whether it be from lack of knowledge, for jealousy or envy, or whatever reason that that person has chosen to try and discourage you, those people will have their own day in court. You know, that helps me, because sometimes one of the things that me personally that I really have to work on and be really, really cautious about is if I am going through a struggle, if I feel like the enemy's coming at me, or I feel like I'm not fighting the battle well enough, sometimes I'll stand in my tracks and I'll stop really trying to do what God has called me to do, because I just don't want to give off the wrong message and I don't want to misrepresent God. But God has also told me that while you're going through those struggles, while you're going through those challenges, I need to keep walking. I need to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And so that gives me a little bit of encouragement to know that I can't worry about what other people are saying. I know God has given me a gift. And so I have to realize that those people have their own gifts that they may or may not be using to the best of their ability. And I have to realize that God is going to judge me. They're not going to be the ones to judge me. You need to be obedient in your assignment and not get caught up in the comments of people who don't know anything about the assignment that you've been giving. I mean, people are really, really good at giving their opinion about how well you do this, or how well you do that, or how well you do not do this, or how well you do not do that, when they don't have a clue as to what your assignment is. And when I say that, I think about Jonah. I mean, not Jonah, but Noah. Noah was told, he was given an assignment to build the ark. And can you imagine? He was given an assignment to do something that made him look really, really, really crazy. They said, Noah, I need you to build this boat. It needs to be huge. And he gave them specifics on how to build it. And not only do I need you to build this boat, I need you to understand it's going to rain. So he's building this boat, and I'm sure his neighbors and people are walking by looking at him, and they're probably asking him questions. What are you doing, Noah? Oh, I'm building a boat because God told me it's going to rain. What's crazy is that it had never rained before. So they're looking at him like, you are really, really out of your mind. You have lost your mind. Well, they didn't know the assignment, but I can guarantee that when it started to rain, they thought about everything Noah said. And because they thought about everything that Noah said, there was nothing that they could do. So you do what you're supposed to do. You follow your assignment. You be obedient to what God has given to you, and not worry about all the naysayers and all the people that are trying to discourage you because they think you should be doing something else. You follow God and let that be your resolve. So I want to leave you today with 1 Corinthians 4, 1 through 5. I think it fits really, really perfect. And so I just want to read it to you, and then I won't hold you up any longer. But thank you so much for taking the time out today to just join me and just listen. Let me talk again and once get these things off my heart. And God gives me things, and sometimes I just want to share them with you. So here's 1 Corinthians. Again, this is 1 Corinthians 4, 1 through 5. It says, let a man regard us in this manner, as servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. In this case, moreover, it is required of stewards that one be found trustworthy. But to me, it is a very small thing that I may be examined by you or by any human court. In fact, I do not even examine myself. For I am conscious of nothing against myself, yet I am not by this acquitted. But the one who examines me is the Lord. Therefore, do not go on passing judgment before the time, but wait until the Lord comes, who will both bring to light the things hidden in the darkness and disclose the motives of men's hearts. And then each man's praise will come to him from God. So we have to realize that Jesus Christ is going to be the one sitting on the bench. He's going to be the judge who judges us as believers when he comes back. And he wants to see a return on his investment. And the question that I have to you is the same question that we're probably going to get on that day is, what are you doing with the measure of talent that you were left with to be a steward of? So contemplate on that. Think about that. And as I think about it, you think about it. And if you have any comments or you want to, just have a little dialogue about it, just put it in the comments section, hit me up, and I'll be more than happy to kind of banter back and forth with you and just kind of discuss it a little bit more. I love talking about this stuff. So you have a great rest of your day and be blessed. Thank you.